do you think that AI is doing poor representations of religious or Mormon figures because it doesn't like religious or specifically Mormon figures and is therefore anti-Mormon? Or do you think that it's just in its infancy getting better and doing its job poorly? Which do you think it is? Because this is impressive. Even with its limited capabilities, it did a better job than a finger painter could.
Yeah, but it still made Jesus look like Jafar.
That we're entering the era of deepfakes. And Kwaku thinks that deepfakes and AI will get so good, the only way you'll be able to tell the difference between the real deal and the fake is by recognizing the spirit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Midnight Mormons, actually Midnight Strike Through Mormons. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, and today I am joined by Dan, the Physiognomy Man McKinley, also known as Speed Read Dan. I love your smolder. You look like that guy on Rapunzel. When you have kids, you'll start getting to know Disney movies really good, but he does his smolder, and you got your smolder going on. So good job, brother. Anyway, we're actually going to tackle a very interesting subject right now. Is artificial intelligence turning anti-Mormon on us? Speed Read Dan has some inside information here as he's been invited to Dolly, the artificial intelligence seminar, shall we call it. Dan, tell us what's going on.
Great. So for the past number of years, we've made great strides in artificial intelligence. And just recently, there's a Google engineer who actually claimed that Google created a program that actually had a sentient artificial intelligence, like a sentient bot that was communicating with.
Yeah, it's like self-aware.
Yeah,
Cyberdyne.
self-aware, which is really crazy because Google denies all of the claims, even though the engineer left the company is completely convinced. But it's
which
really,
they would. A sentient AI bot would be smart enough to know I got to deny this cheese.
Interesting. Okay. But
yeah.
So what's really going on, though, is there's a long-standing debate that's been occurring ever since actually the 1950s. Can an artificial intelligence actually be sentient? Can an artificial intelligence be self-aware, have consciousness, can actually make decisions for itself? Or is it just something, could a program ever become so complicated where you don't actually know what's going on? Because over the last few decades, algorithms have become so complicated that it's just called a black box.
Okay. So I don't want to bury the lead here, but help me articulate this in one sentence. All of us are familiar with artificial intelligences now, just like Joe Rogan has not Joe Rogan, but somebody made a really funny video that sounds like Joe Rogan is saying that there should be a chimpanzee hockey team where machine learning, AI bot was able to take all of Joe Rogan's podcasts and make him say something that he never said because it was able to learn his way of speaking. Just like we've all heard artificial intelligence created audio. Now there is artificially intelligent created visual. We're talking, you can just tell a computer what you want it to draw. And then based upon machine learning in lots of different other scenarios with other paintings and other graphics and so on and so forth, it can actually create images based upon what you request of it. Just like based upon Joe Rogan's audio, you can create audio files based on it. Except for we've noticed a couple of things about these AI generated images. What have you noticed, Dan?
They look rather dark. They're not very flattering, to say the least. But one important point I want to bring up again is that AI is really, it takes after its creator. Any artificial intelligence, it's going to be influenced by whoever creates that artificial intelligence in any way, shape, or form. And you know what? Most people in Silicon Valley, most of them now I would call are not exactly friendly towards Christianity.
And what's some proof of that? Some people say, well, what's some proof of that they're not?
That they're not friendly, that they are friendly?
Yeah, that they're not friendly towards Christianity in general.
Well, okay, here's a great point. Google, look at Google on Christmas or on Easter. like for the past, on random October 20th, like there's like chocolate day or something, or June 7th, there's like, they have some Google Doodle for some random BIPOC, poet association, whatever.
Okay.
But, so that for every single day, like they have most days, like they have a Google Doodle, but on Christmas, they've never had like a Christmas Google Doodle. Like on Easter, they don't do Easter Google Doodles, like even a secularized version of it, like even the Easter Bunny or like Santa Claus.
Oh, so you're saying that all of these images that you oftentimes see above the Google search engine called the Google Doodle, they're always reflective generally of what's going on that day. And you're right.
Mm-hmm.
If it's International Race Car Day, they're going to have a cool Google Doodle of a race car. If it's Harriet Tubman's birthday, there's Harriet Tubman there. And usually it's culturally relevant. But they've been caught not doing Christmas ones on Christmas?
No, not just once, every year.
Really?
They never do Christmas.
No.
Yes.
Stop
yes.
it.
Look it up. They never do Christmas.
They never do Christmas.
Google never does Christmas. They never acknowledge Christmas or Easter.
Okay, I'm going to look that one up. But anyway, keep going. So how does this take us to artificial intelligence?
It's just a sign that in terms of most artificial intelligence is being created by what you would call woke Silicon Valley, based companies.
Okay.
And I would say very few of the engineers or programmers or developers, at these companies have any degree of faith. Most of them are, even if they have spiritual beliefs, most of them are very anti-Christian. And that reflects the reality of what's going on, in these programs.
Wow. Okay. So, I just look up in the UK, it says Google Doodle for seasonal holidays. Are they doing this whole, it's seasonal instead of being necessarily, I don't know. I'll have to look more into that claim. But okay. So let's go straight into the artwork then.
So
okay.
There's a program that's been created in the last few months called DALL-E. And it's very incredible because you're able to give it a prompt and all of a sudden it generates a series of images of art according to that prompt. So you could say like, a cat jumps over the moon and it's going to draw like an image of a cat over the moon in space or like in the sky or something.
Okay. So I want to pull up one of these ones that you made randomly. What was the prompt for this one?
The prompt of that was like Joseph Smith preaching.
Well, maybe it just hasn't learned images of Joseph Smith very well.
Well,
right?
like here's the thing, like supposedly isn't supposed to like take it. So machine learning, what it does, artificial learning is it's AI is generally in this day and age called machine learning. Machine learning takes something called training data. It takes a collection of prompts. It's able to feed different elements and it's going over a set of data to adjust like these different algorithms that create
what was the prompt for this one right here?
So the prompt of this one was Joseph Smith restoring the church.
Interesting. So it kind of makes you wonder, did it just take a bunch of pictures of old restorationists and then maybe
that's
the
what
average
it should have done, but it's not anything close to the average because it's like I've never seen any images like that before. So it's really weird.
Okay, but maybe it's saying, okay, this is, if I were a young programmer, I'd be thinking, okay, scour the internet for the average person named Joe. And you want to know what? Boomers would always call themselves Joe, while maybe younger kids might only call themselves Joseph. Okay, and what's Joseph Smith famous for? I would have it look at the first Wikipedia article and it says he's a restorationist. So then I would cross-reference all of the different art that was restorationist art. And I'd probably get this weird looking garb that looked kind of like a Martin Luther painting. I'd probably mix it with the 1950s Leave It to Beaver looking guy named Joe. And then I'd make it this strange, dilute, low resolution image so the person's brain could superimpose onto it anything else they wanted. Maybe this is just at its early stages, artificial intelligence that's just bad at its job and not maybe anti-religious.
It's possible, but like the majority of human images from DALL-E look rather strange or very just something down or like off about it. But like, I don't know, like they kind of make Joseph Smith look kind of like evil. Like, look at this image.
Well, it looks kind of like almost all of these are made to look a little bit evil. Like, okay, so what was the prompt for this one?
I think it was actually Joseph Smith. It was something like Joseph Smith reading the Book of Mormon.
Okay, so my first impression of this is that the person's head is way too small. Does that make sense?
Well,
that guy's
why
head,
does it look like, what's this weird robe thing that he's wearing? It's a very strange, but here's the thing. Like I did prompts, you could do prompts for
Okay.
like non-religious figures, non-Western religious figures, and
Okay.
they're going to look completely normal.
So what was the prompt for this one?
This
looks
one was
interesting.
actually, this one's going to counter prove my point or prove my point either way. But if you give it prompts for like things that don't have people, it always looks a lot better. So this prompt, I did a few different prompts, and this one was the city of Enoch preparing to return to the earth.
Whoa, so you told machine learning
Yes.
to make the city of
Yes.
Enoch preparing to return to the earth.
Yes.
And this is the picture that artificial intelligence
Yes.
came up with?
Yes.
That's actually really impressive. But
What's with the stumps though? It's
yeah,
kind of
what are those
interesting.
things? Are those sheep? Are those
No, I'm
what?
thinking about like the mesas or something. Or it's like
Yeah.
it kind of, this is another crazy conspiracy theory on the internet, but like there's these theories that like these mountain stumps, these mesas out there used to be these 5,000 foot tall trees.
Really?
Yeah, really, really. Like there's whole entire YouTube channels, dedicated to this.
Oh, well, that's cool. What was the prompt for this one?
This was another prompt related to the city of Enoch returning to the earth.
Okay, so I'm going to burn through a bunch of these pictures really
Another one
fast.
related to the same topic.
Okay, so it looks like it does a little bit better job of creating an aura-like image.
It does a much better job with intangible objects and with cities, like material objects. It does an awful job with people, but I've noticed, like I did stuff with other figures. Like I made it like do images of non-Western religious figures, like, Shiva or Kali Yuga or Buddha
Okay.
or Confucius. And
Well, this one looks a lot better because the person's head is at least in proportion to his shoulders and his body.
However, the vibe still looks a little bit rough. Like he looks a little bit like just,
Well, very Catholic garbs.
yeah.
Like if you look at some of these pictures, like all of them have them in some strange, like this looks a little bit more like an Eastern Mandarin collar,
Yeah.
or maybe like a 15th or 16th century, except for that sash right there. And I don't know why on earth everything is pink. There's definitely, they've tried to make a generic kind of, when you see the pictures of Jesus doing that whole thing in the little Catholic donation cards in South America, you can see that in this image, they've definitely tried to do like some kind of hand gesture. We'll make it a
It's
little
like,
bit bigger.
wow, that looks like a boy or something.
And
then
this one
looks
was
really
kind of
weird.
freaky. This was
one's
like,
really freaky. It's like he looks like an alien or something. Or he kind
you
of
know who
looks
he
like,
totally looks like right
who?
now?
Who?
He looks like, who's the one? He was the only officer in Star Wars on the Death Star in episode 4. A New Hope,
yeah.
that could give commands to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
What
I
was
know
his name again? He died on the Death Star, but he's like, Vader, enough. I don't remember what it was, but it looks like that guy. You know who I'm talking about?
It also kind of looks like the creator of like Ethereum.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Vitalik Buterin.
Okay, this one is actually a lot more. This one looks like vaporwave.
Those were something about you could see like the reformed. I think like that's supposed to be reformed Egyptian. Like this one's crazy. I'm sorry, like this one just not look. This one's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Look at these kids. But it's like deranged face though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like whenever like, it's supposed to be Jesus or anyone who's like from the Bible, like their deranged face.
Yeah.
I'm
why
like,
is that?
Why is that like honestly, like Jesus looks a bit like a.
Look at some of these faces though. Like I'm going to straight up move this one around a little bit more so the audience can see it. But like, look at this face. Like how
deranged is that?
Yeah, like it doesn't even finish the eyeballs properly quite yet. Man.
And the thing though is like it's capable. The big huge question is this artwork, this machine learning, this whatever, this AI program, is capable of doing great artwork already.
Okay.
But like whenever you ask it to, oh, this one was interesting.
Okay.
So I noticed all of the artwork of Jesus didn't show him with any nail marks, his hand or his feet. And he specifically prompted the hand of Jesus Christ.
And why was it with this water? Does it automatically assume the hand of Jesus Christ has to do with holy water? And
maybe. But then there's another thing though, is like, well, if you never see Jesus with, the nail mark in his hand, then maybe, there's assumption that the atonement never happened. He was never resurrected. And you see this here. Like,
so is that where Jesus, people online are taking it? They're taking it that far?
Yeah.
This one actually looks kind of cool to me. This looks like almost like the guy that used to paint the Statue of Liberty. What was his name?
What was his name?
He was the New York painter that raised the funds to save the Statue of Liberty when it was all derelict. He started in the 90s. He got really big probably by the early 2000s, maybe 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name. In the chat, if you remember the name of the artist that painted the really bright and exciting pictures of the Statue of Liberty in New York City, he was a big celebrity artist for a while. This one actually looks kind of cool.
Still, if you zoom up on the face, it just, and even the colors, like everything just looks kind of dark. Like, would you imagine like?
Well, this one doesn't look dark.
This is supposed to be the problem. Was
a lot
like
of
Jesus,
the others do look.
Jesus,
very
like,
dark.
Was Jesus appearing to his followers after the resurrection? Like, was the prompt? And it's like, why does it look so dark? Like, it looks like he's like, in hell or something.
So tell me.
So this one was, so after a while, I got really frustrated.
Okay.
And it was like, why can't you just give me a decent image of Jesus? And I specifically prompted photorealistic image of Jesus. And this is the best I got. But this one is obviously an image of a statue.
Well, and what's up with that eye like getting shot out?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, why is their eye shot out?
Now this just looks like a child's drawing, so we can't really.
Still, like, the eyes look a little bit weird, and then like here, like we can't even see like his face.
Okay, so
and then this one, it's like, why does it with the black hands and stuff, and in red, it's like.
And it's really interesting
like
how
Jesus.
Machine learning always chooses to put their hands like this.
Yeah.
I saw this AI one, not this AI. I saw this TikTok once. There was a pastor who was talking about all the different ways that people like listen to worship music. And he's like, oh, there's the people that are holding up the chicken. And then there's the people that are halfway doing this, and he was making fun of all the different positions people have.
So
and it looks
this
like
one is
all
like,
of them are doing this.
This is like surfer bro Jesus.
Okay, cool. So then I guess.
Or I don't know if that's supposed to be Jesus. Maybe that's John maybe that's John the Beloved or something.
Okay.
Without the shirt. Maybe Jesus is the one in blue. I'm not sure.
So then here's the question. I guess this might become the thumbnail of our show here. But do you think that AI is doing poor representations of religious or Mormon figures because it doesn't like religious or specifically Mormon figures and is therefore anti-Mormon? Or do you think that it's just in its infancy getting better and doing its job poorly? Which do you think it is?
Well, it could be both. So one of the things that's going on is maybe we don't have enough people who are coders or developers or software, algorithm designers that are actually working with tech companies that could actually distill and make sure that like they understand what religion even is. I kind of get the sense that like it doesn't even really understand religion. And that's very true because religion and spirituality, those are very human topics. And that's very hard for, AI to understand things that are it's completely foreign to and really antithetical to artificial intelligence.
Okay.
It's really the complete opposite.
So let me offer my pushback. This is my theory. I don't think AI is... I don't think it's necessarily targeting specifically Mormons. I think what AI is going to serve, because I notice a lot of advertisements now for artificial intelligence writing your blog posts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I've read some of these
stuff
blog
like
articles.
Jarvis AI and stuff.
Yeah. It's meant to serve generally a monetary purpose. And just like if I'm trying to make my thumbnails, I'll often do a Google image search for something that's relevant to one of my topics that I can make as a background or something like that. And I always want to get royalty-free images. The ultimate royalty-free image is an original image created by an AI bot that you're paying $2.99 a month for, right? So to me, it seems like right now, it's just doing a bad job, but showing promise. And I think it's actually not, I don't think that it's going to be so bad that Cyberdyne becomes sentient and there's a war, a glamorous war in the future like Terminator 2. I think Kwaku said something interesting the other day. He says, and Andrew Yang said something interesting as well, that we're entering the era of deepfakes. And Kwaku thinks that deepfakes and AI will get so good, the only way you'll be able to tell the difference between the real deal and the fake is by recognizing the spirit. What do you think of that, dog?
That's a powerful point. And so that's something, what if hypothetically, what if AIs could, create a forgery? Like in the future, like, I don't know, like what if like the image of Joseph Smith we saw, the new image that came out, what if that was a forgery, like an AI forgery or something?
Dude,
not to say that was, but I'm saying like now, like we don't really know if anything's real.
Okay. So you think right now that since artificial intelligence is generally coming from the same places that Twitter and Instagram and Facebook does, that has an obvious progressive leftist secular bias, you think that right now artificial intelligence has that bias. I'm a little bit more dubious of that, but I think we both can agree. It seems like it's going to be getting good enough because this is impressive. Even with its limited capabilities, it did a better job than a finger painter could.
Yeah, but it still made Jesus look like Jafar.
See, I wouldn't even go as far to say that though, because I don't think that looks like anything. This looks like a mushed face.
Still, it just looks, Jesus is not supposed to look like that. The Son of God is like, in all honesty, it's kind of blasphemous.
Well, it's true. Well, I think it's blasphemous.
Bad art.
It does surprise me.
Ugly.
This is what does surprise me. It surprises me that Jesus, the face of Jesus, as prolific as it has been throughout time and art, which scanned art, I assume, has to be the basis of some of these data points that artificial intelligence is considering. But it surprises me that Jesus is actually not one of the better images.
Well, it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst.
Yeah.
Like I tried many times, and any other image, like it could be some, like I did prompts for like trad wife and her husband, Chad husband or something like that. And it's able to do like anime-esque images where like everything's very clear. And sometimes it's able to do like, I did a random prompt that was a slumber party. And like it has like super, like almost quite realistic like looking images and stuff.
Okay.
But for some reason with Jesus, well, actually, no, we don't have them right here, but I did it with Moses and it was even worse than Jesus. It couldn't even show his face.
Oh, weird. Well, that seems to be kind of par for the course here because I can't even tell which way this guy's looking. And it looks kind of like a Picasso painting on steroids mixed with finger painting in kindergarten. So anyway, all right, let us know what you guys think in the chat below. Do you think that, this is a conspiracy? Do you think that AI is trying to misrepresent religious figures and iconography or trying to downplay the stunning visuals of faith? Or do you think it's just bad and it's meandering, like bumper bowling its way into excellence and will become so good that someday only through the spirit we'll be able to tell what's real and what's fake? Let us know what you guys think below. This is Midnight Mormons. We'll see you guys in the next program.